Welcome back to another video of one of my favorite scenes of my Mister. And in this video I want to share with you my favorite scene or scenes from the first episode of my Mister. And within that process I want to talk a little bit about why I found those scenes so significant, why they got me interested in the drama and so forth, and break it up a little bit. And who knows, I'll be really curious what your favorite scene from the first episode is. There are other great scenes in the first episode. For example, I love that scene when Lee Jian sort of drives that bed with her grandmother in it. There's a great shot with the moon there. There's so much in there. That was also a beautiful scene. There are other scenes like that crazy bug situation that happens first, which can be a bit misleading maybe for some people that watch it for the first time. But I want to talk about a sort of a sequence of shots that I found really significant for me. Because I'm somebody that often wonders what happens to people when they leave a place of work. What do they go back to? What they go back to can be wildly different. And just because they've been in a semi-respectable environment where everybody gets together to do some work, that doesn't mean that they don't go back to completely different private lives after that. So some people go to abusive relationships, other people go to completely different lives, to loving families, other people go to really poor situations. And so I love in my Mister, in the first episode, how we follow the characters, the main characters, into their after-work routine. And Dong-un, of course, here sits with his brothers, having drinks and so forth. And at the same time, then we see what Lee Jian is going for, and she's going to a second job where she basically scrapes food off customers' plates, used plates, and scraped it up to have for dinner herself because she's just so broke and having to pay off all this money. And so the contrast there is so beautifully shot. And it's a bit like Dong-un and Lee Jian's lives are shown how they intertwine and then, go apart. Let's have a quick look. This is also the first time we hear the actual title track. So listening to it as an audience, you're really getting a sense that this is something that is a theme. Whenever music starts in a drama at a specific point, it sets a certain tone and it gives you a certain emotion, and you're starting to imagine the characters feeling those emotions as well in a way. And so I know the lyrics to this song are super sad. I just didn't realize it when I first listened to it. But this is her second job, of course. And I love how it's shot in such a handheld way. Really lovely. So now, it's just the contrast of what they all go back to. It's really fascinating, and I think this is one of the themes in the drama, and I think this is also something that the director is always really interested in. Like in Misaeng, for example, you see a lot of shots of like our scenes of people going away from work and then going back to their homes, and so we get to that here in a minute as well. So she packs up the food, and then there's this lovely bit where their lives intertwine again in a very sort of subtle way. Let's have a look here. So he's on his way back, this beautiful shot there on the train. When you've had a few drinks, you're sort of looking around, you're not really thinking, and boom, you notice something and you recognize someone, but you don't say anything. And what's so great here is that the way it's shot as well, it's sort of handheld. And so it feels like you are another person on the train, sort of watching him, checking this, noticing her. And it's really great because what we're getting at this stage is that she has done one or two things that made him think about her. So when he recognizes her shoes and recognizes her here, we know that he's thinking about her a little bit longer. And that's why, you know, when they leave the station, he's sort of intrigued. But I love how subtle all of this is. And now he leaves her alone and all that. All he has is kind of a few more thoughts about her while she's walking off. And now he realizes that they're neighbors, very likely. So the seeds are sown. I like as well the couple of times he keeps looking after her. It's the kind of thing that, as an audience, that makes you realize that something has triggered in his head, and something is going to happen. But it's not too much, and it's just subtle. But really where things for me are just like where it goes to the next level is where we follow her all the way now to her place. And this is very Misaeng-like, isn't it? This whole sequence, like not much is happening really, but as an audience, we join her on her way back to her ramshackle, tiny, dark, dingy room with walls like that she doesn't even bother switching the light on because there's nothing there. And, you know, it's true, she doesn't smile for the first 6-7 episodes. And why would you? If this is your life, 2 jobs, menial tasks, going back to drinking instant cappuccino or whatever that stuff is she's drinking. Not good to drink that stuff very often, you know. It's so miserable. I was hooked from this point on because just seeing her go back to this sort of situation, I was just like, oh, I can understand why she looks like the way she does and why she acts the way she does. And now my favorite moment is coming up because it says so much. Let's see it together. I love how she doesn't react at that point. It says so many things about her character, about everything here. I mean, it's like any normal person would have been like be scared for their life. First of all, to me, I realized then that she literally is not afraid of anything because she has nothing to lose. Secondly, she might also be so tired that she can't even react to somebody being in her place. Third, it also transpires there, I think in that moment, that he's been there before, he's done that before, he just invades her space whenever. And for me, it was also heartbreaking that somebody's space can just be invaded like that. But also at that point, I was thinking, is he a brother? Is he a boyfriend or some sort of other abuser or whatever? The first moment you think, who is this guy, right? But it tells you so much more, especially when you watch it a few times. This is why I love this drama so much. When you watch it again, you realize how perfect all the acting is and all the moments are created and scripted. What for me was the significant moment there was this journey home from work. I really love the sensibility of the director who puts great focus on that level of detail following somebody. And it also reminds me a bit of Parasite again, a little bit, in terms of like how we follow people down in Parasite to their basement apartment, the poor people. And in a way, she kind of is further up here in this case, but this long, arduous journey through the dark streets and stuff, going back to this and this abusive guy and all that horror. it's really significant, I think, and especially for the first episode, it's a really great way of really introducing us to the character. And I know some people apparently still don't feel empathetic after this, but I was already like, yeah, I didn't even need the next scene where she, steals her grandmother on the bed with the moon and all that. I didn't even need that scene to feel empathy with her situation, because I mean, this is already hell that she's living in. So it really helped me get into the drama. I wonder what it was like for you. Do you appreciate this sort of slow move from work to home that this director seems to really love to focus on, like in Misaeng as well? For me, that really worked, and we heard the song for the first time, and so we got a mood for this drama. And so it helped me not to think it was some sort of weird comedy in the office, because that ladybug scene can sometimes seem a bit like that's where it's going. But that was just a great way of getting all the characters in the office exposed a little bit and clarified. Great, I hope you enjoyed this quick walkthrough of my favorite moments from the first episode. I know there were very subtle ones, but I really enjoy the little details and the storytelling here, and what we see visually and what we can glean from that. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you did, then give me a thumbs up. And of course, subscribe, because I'm going to try to go through this whole series and pick my favorite scenes from each episode and break them down a bit and review them a little bit. It's going to be hard. It's going to be super hard. So wish me luck. What's your favorite scene as well in episode 2? That I would be very interested in, because I'm planning to do the next video about episode 2. Great to see you today. Bye.